I'm Dr. Ruth Newstifter here with AAMFT. Today we're going to be interviewing Peggy Orenstein, author of Cinderella Ate My Daughter and closing plenary speaker for the 2012 Annual Conference. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Peggy. It's really a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm pleased to be able to do it.
Your writing on the experiences of women, whether it's other women or whether it's your own story, has moved so many readers over the years. What led you to focus on girly-girl culture for your latest book and for your plenary session with us?
I started this project because I had a daughter and I'm a mom, and I think that until you have a little girl, you're sort of oblivious to what's going on in the culture of little girls. And we were sort of, when you have that little girl, you want her to be able to be anything and do anything and not have any limits, and suddenly she went to preschool, and she came back and she had memorized all the names and gown colors of the Disney princesses, and I didn't even know what that was. And we were going around town, and I live in Berkeley, California, so not exactly a bastion of conservatism, and every little girl was swathed head to toe in pink, and every little girl was a princess and wanted to be addressed as Snow White. And I thought, what is this? And I really didn't know if it was a kind of a positive post-feminist celebration or a regression or what it meant. So I kind of went on this journey, both in terms of the research and in terms of my own personal repertorial journey, to figure out what this new culture was and to see if there were dots to be connected between the kind of commercialized princess play and what I eventually started calling the princess industrial complex, and the kind of diva behavior, or the sort of diva, well, I call it the Kardashianization of girlhood later on, to how girls were presenting themselves on Facebook, and what all of that meant in terms of their definition of their femininity and their identity and their vulnerability to the issues that particularly with this group, concern parents and mental health professionals with girls, such as low self-esteem, depression, negative body image, eating disorders, poor sexual choices, those sorts of things, and how that all fit in. Because our media is so visual, and because cosmetic surgery is becoming more and more common, only sort of amps up the expectation and the imperative to be hot, even if you are a warrior, even if you are a politician, even if you are, that no matter what new terrain we occupy as girls and women, we need to drag the old with us and even sort of, ratchet it up a notch.
It makes me so grateful in many ways that when I was young, it was before the days of YouTube and Facebook.
It does seem complicated, and I think that the social media both enhances and undermines intimacy, and it can do it simultaneously. Identity has become a kind of performance, and there's research that reinforces that idea, that kids are more and more defining themselves externally or creating identity externally and sculpting it in relationship to the feedback they get. We don't really know, I guess, how it's going to affect kids' sense of themselves, their masculinity or femininity, their empathy, their narcissism. All these things are sort of up for grabs right now in this giant social experiment that we're doing with our kids. And one more step on that is I don't mean to demonize the internet or social media either, because there are many wonderful things about it, and it does provide a way for not only to get information but to find like-minded people, whether it's a special interest, intellectual interest, or social interest, or whether it's because you're gay and there's nobody in your town that's gay, or whatever it may be. It provides also sort of alternative universes for kids that they can explore that can be very healthy as well.
Yeah, and I liked what you had to say, that a lot of these needs that youth have around feedback and community are nothing new. It's just that the tools are speeding up and making it more intense, but the base factor of what's attractive about it has always been around for youth.
Right, and the other piece is the age compression aspect. So all these things keep skewing younger and younger. It's a new way of considering ourselves and presenting ourselves that, I don't know what it will mean, but it is certainly something that, as advocates and educators and therapists and all those who are interested in children's development need to take note of and watch.
How can we as mental health professionals help to create change or track the change or help it to be a more healthy change for the families that we're seeing that may be dealing with these topics?
Well, I think as mental health professionals, what part of the goal is to make people more self-aware and understand their behavior, understand their patterns, understand choices that they make, give them tools to make the healthiest possible choices in a situation. And I think that extends to this new realm, both in terms of the social media world, and if that is a source of identity creation, it's something that mental health professionals need to be thinking about in terms of how they're guiding or talking to families or young clients about identity, and in terms of the more directly the images in the media that girls and boys see of girls and women, and the ways that the very narrow ideas are encouraging them to define themselves through an almost impossibly narrow lens. That too is an identity issue, and something and it affects particularly girls' mental health very directly. It becomes incumbent on mental health professionals to understand the culture, to understand the impact of the culture, and to understand how to create to help their young clients or the families they work with to broaden their ideas of what it means to be a girl, to understand what is being told them about what it means to be a girl, and to grow up in this female body, and to help them learn to ask the questions that will give them a better understanding so that they can make truer, freer choices about their feminine identity.
I know that I can speak very confidently for all the attendees at the conference that we're very excited about hearing you address these issues.
It's very exciting for me to bring this work to a group of people that works directly with mental health issues and directly with girls and families, and can affect that change on a personal level that ultimately becomes a community level.
Well, thank you so much, Peggy. It's exciting for us, too, and we're looking forward to seeing you this September.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to it, too.
Thank you for joining us for our interview with Peggy Orenstein. She'll be our final plenary speaker at the 2012 Annual Conference. You can learn more about it and how you can watch her upcoming talk at www.aamft.org.